African sport has had many contributors to it to make it the relative success that we know today. And it's not only on the field with regards to players or coaches or even administrators. It has also been about the voices that have so eloquently over the years narrated the game or the games as we know them. And if I say to you, Latuma, or if I say to you, Zimbinda Bamatota, you know exactly who I'm talking about. And it is an absolute privilege of mine today to welcome Zama Masondo. They call him ZZ, those who are close to him. Thank you so much, sir, for welcoming us into your home and agreeing to talk to us about the legendary career that you've had.
It's a pleasure, and thank you for having me.
Okay, we start from the beginning, your upbringing and where you grew up.
I'm not a class Yapi from Bergville, but I come from a beautiful little town in the foot of the Drakensberg Mountains in Bergville. That is, Bergville is in KZN.
Yes.
And I studied there, and I did everything there.
This was up until matric, everything?
Yes, but matric, I did matric at Fried High School.
Oh.
I'm going to say Fried High School, but they prefer, you remember, I'm from the old era. When you say Fried High School, it was for the whites on.
Oh.
Fried Bantu or Fried State High School.
Yes.
That's us.
Okay. So what sort of upbringing was it? Was it full of sport? Was it full of were you ulusi nkomo?
It was a very, very organized and disciplined upbringing because my father loved football. So there's a place where we used to go up there. We call it Enkanjin Wandaba, the grounds that we create ourselves. Where out there when your cattle, when you as a head boy, your herd of cattle are just resting there, then you can pick up this ping pong ball and tennis ball and run around and kick it. So if I say discipline, my father did not want us to be loitering around and doing nothing. So he pointed to us that you must stick to football because that is what can help you someday. Unfortunately, we are from a rural area. So we're not exposed to places like, Johannesburg and Durban.
And football did become a huge part of your career. I doubt, though, you thought it would happen the way it did. Maybe, perhaps, when your father spoke, you thought maybe as a player or as a coach someday.
He used to like coming down to the football ground where we were playing and sitting there in his swivel chair. He brought it to the water because it's just open air. He sat there and always say, "Come, Sailor Man," when he appreciated that. Because I had a brother who was called heavyweight, so he was also playing number 6, and I was number 5 out there, stopper those days.
Yeah.
So when Sailor Man has that, then my father was going to hear him say, "Come, Sailor Man, Kai heavyweight." So that encouraged us to be like, we want to be in Durban so that you can play for Amazulu and one African one.
And it sounds to me like the coining of phrases was always something in your family. And that baritone voice, I suppose it also comes from there.
That was a blessing to me because in the end, I coined quite a number of phrases like Latuma and Zimbida Madoda. That was my Kenvaisi, what is this signature tune? Because when I say Zim, even if you are in the garden like I'm from the garden right now, then you will say, oh, now these things are happening. The match is just about to start. So it means, oh, it's that. Let me leave whatever I'm doing. Let me go there. So it's my father who introduced that to us, that you, like Sailor Man. I didn't even know what that was. He said, no, Sailor Man never die by mistake. I said, hey. So it means I'm not going to die. He said, yes, you'll die by this age. So he was a very humorous old man.
Yeah. But did you ever think in your head, as a little boy, was there any example of commentary or a seed that was planted at some point as a young man, or it was purely serendipitous at some point?
No, we were listening to radio. Everything was happening on radio. There was only TV1 at that time, but we had radio stations like, it was not Ukhozi, it was Radio Zulu at that point. So we were listening to the best commentator ever, who's late, Tata Elijah Musomboka, that guy who introduced a number of things. The coinage that we did stems from there, because the others here, like the people who were saying, and the others were said, sing like me. It is his intonation. It's him who started all that. And yet he was saying, ungaba semlazi ungaba semnambiti emahlabathini kwalapi yizo lezo ezemidlalo ngafa ngegoli. But they were all in Johannesburg. They were based in Johannesburg because this station was divided into two. There was a Joburg station and a Durban one.
And Zama Masondo, they say imitation is the best form of flattery. And I just remember you were one of the voices that was just so synonymous with local football. I had never seen your face, but when we're playing football in the townships growing up, you'd have one of us, normally those of us who can't play, sitting outside, pretending to be the commentator, and you somehow mimicked the phrases Zimbinda Mamadota, FNB Stadium. I had never been to FNB Stadium in my life. I didn't know how it looked. Somewhere in the Free State growing up. But I knew you took me to FNB Stadium with that voice. I knew that this is where things happen. And that is how you impacted the lives of a lot of us in the townships in those days.
It was a blessing for me to have a voice like this, a unique voice of its kind, because many people were telling me, and I got hampered if people say your voice is as velvety or whatever. I don't know, nobody say a velvet voice or velvety voice, something like that. But it was a blessing then, because at this point, regardless of the kind of voice that you have, but the presentation of that voice must not be a boring one, and it must not be a screaming type of a voice, because there were some rules and principles that were stipulated. With, when you are a commentator or a presenter, you have to stick to three of them: entertain, inform, as well as educate. Yeah.
Okay. Before we go to break, you were a teacher. I understand.
Once a teacher, always.
Okay, you are a teacher because you've taught us also a lot of things. But did your education background or standing in front of a classroom of children teaching, did it help with the transition once you made the jump to broadcast?
Actually, that's the actual thing that paved the way for us, because when you are a school teacher, you must be excelling in all the languages, especially even the ones that were not as popular, as famous, like Afrikaans and stuff like that. In 1979, there were some adverts on radio that we need people who are school teachers, because they know that we can be able to present, we know how to handle the audience live, and if now it's millions of people out there, we are not going to have a problem. So they said they are looking for school teachers who can present Africa, but who are very good in isiZulu. Then I said, oh, that's me. Let me try my luck. I was teaching at Ukatamba High School in Bergfield. So I said, hey, I'm going to take a chance. Then I lodged my application. At that time in Johannesburg, there was an excellent presenter who was called the late, everybody's late here, Henry, Nduduzi Henry Sope, a full man. He was presenting a program that was a Selma Toons. Now, Yakusa Manje Fulben Suga, a great and Yakuka Shanas, it was radio. Then that is the guy who introduced, who interviewed me. And that's the guy who pointed out that this guy has got the best voice. Best voice. I heard him say that. Because in the studio, you know that there's red, there's caution and green. So he forgot to close this caution thing because we could hear from the audience where we were that he was saying, "Yay, we found what we wanted." At Auckland Park here, he said, "We found, listen to the voice." Oh, and everybody laughed. Listen to the, you know, I still remember the advert letter where they said you must do advertisement, you must do a commentary as a commentator. Then I still remember what's this? That is what I said. Everybody said, "Oh, what
we found gold."
We all listened to that and we were excited. They said, "Oh, that's our man." Then soccer, I started to say, well, I don't want to say it, but I started to know like, njengamanje liyaqala ke ibhola liyasuka lapha libekwa lapha esikhali khona lapha liyabamba lapha ulinde so lapha kodwa njengamanje now waiting. That 18 thing comes all the way from the 70s.
Okay, nangu yalbamba ubab Zama Masondo. We'll be back here on Newzroom Afrika. We're still speaking to the award-winning, the twice Hall of Famer, Bab Zama Masondo, and he'll explain to us shortly after the break the difference between radio and TV commentary and also the importance of African languages to today's broadcasting. Stay with us. Thank you so much for still sitting with us here on Newzroom Afrika channel 405, and we are sitting down with an absolute legend of South African sport, not just football, South African sport and broadcasting, Bab Zama Masondo. ZZ is what some of them in the industry, his peers, call him. To us, he's Bab Zama Masondo, and he is giving us the nitty-gritties of how he started. And I said before the break, we'll ask you about the difference between TV and radio commentary. Just briefly about that, because you often hear the radio commentators a lot quicker and fast-paced, and does it have to do with the fact that the action is quick, or is it exaggeration at times? Because we can't see it.
No, there are some rules even there that you cannot state the obvious. That is TV. You don't state the obvious. But radio, you cannot keep quiet for a long time because it's going to click off. Then you are going to lose that audio. So it means you have to speak all the time. But that is wall to wall. That's the difference now. If it's radio, you have to go through. You cannot stop speaking. You have to go, now this little boy is bringing the ball up.
No dead air.
No dead air, yes. Because otherwise, if that is the case, you are going to lose. But if it's if it's TV, let the picture tell the story. Because the picture is explaining where they just complement the picture. Yes, if it the highlights. Now the development, you develop from here we go. Now we are on you see what I mean? Here we are starting. It's just still now Tiku Modise is on the right hand side, he's now kicking the ball. Yes, so is waiting for the ball there. That is now you are pointing out what the viewer may not see. But when it's developing to the 18 area, you have to raise your voice as well, because you have to explain that now McCarthy, the other guy is no, a header. Then that is what is supposed to be. Shout only when it's necessary. When you're excited. It's a cracker! I didn't want to say, because there are a number of people who are saying that. I came up with this Laduma and I said, all right, Laduma! It was not as long as in Laduma! Yes, but eventually I found this Laduma. I didn't want to mimic the guys from Brazil who were saying, volleyball, but that happened to be there because I was a tour operator at one stage. We were at Maracanã Stadium, sitting there in the commentary box, watching this commentator speak and doing exactly what we were doing. But the difference was, this ball. I said, oh, people were excited. The people around here, what's the executives, all the upmarket people are sitting just here. They were listening to him. Then they were saying, because they like what he did. I said, oh, I'm going to steal this. I came down, it was 92. I came down home. I said, let me change this very same Laduma, the shorter version. Let me give them a longer version, because now there is Laduma instead of Laduma. You see. Now, I want to add something here, because, people don't know what Laduma means. They say it is just a goal, any goal. If it's a soft goal, it's not supposed to be like that. That is not what we created. A cracker, like I'm saying. Yeah. Oh, it's a cracker. It's a superb. It's a brilliant goal. Exactly. Yes, things like that. Now, you can't say no. So it doesn't make sense. But they needed this kind of education. That we are talking now. They will understand, oh, yeah, but that is not necessarily a goal. It is a goal, but a brilliant, a beautiful goal.
All right. Zama Masondo, now, African languages. I mean, is it something that, as you look at broadcasters of today, are taking as seriously as you did? You built yourself in isiZulu, in isiZulu commentary. You built your entire career around that. And I think of Ndade Tabokofa. I think of many other legends that
late Teddy.
Yes, I think that Tabiso Pakis.
Yeah, Omudiba.
Yes, I think of those legends as those whose voices we remember, and this particular games we remember due to African languages. But are we losing that as the younger generation in terms of staying authentically us as Africans?
It was patriotism. If you love your country, you will own your language. Because if you are going to say, oh, this one cannot even utter one word in English. Yes. So it means you are looked down upon. Yes. You are just this other person. But if it's English, it's got to be English. And which is painful is that, there is a commentator that is speaking English. I'm just going to make an example with Gleason, because he's a friend of mine. Gleason is here, sitting next to me, speaking perfect English. Then I'm here, which is not up to standard. Yes. Even if I'm fluent and, accolade. Yes. But the fact of the matter is, why is Gleason here? Why am I here? I am here to represent millions of Africans. I'm saying Africans because even, Indians, they listen to what we're talking about. They know, they understand English. The colored people, the community, they know what we say, and they like it. You'll be surprised that I've got, I don't want to say fans, supporters, hundreds of thousands of supporters from the white community.
And in terms of preparation, Zama Masondo, how did you prepare that made it so simple once you grabbed the mic? What was the intensity of your preparation like?
The huge difference is that we didn't even have any other. There was no social media, there was no television, there was nothing. The only thing that we had was newspaper clippings. You know, you have to clip that and compile what you are going to do. If there's Fanny Madida scoring 155 goals, you clip that if somebody else spoke about that. Then that's the kind of research that and it was limited because we had to be sure of what we're doing. And it was only fax machine, there was no email, there was nothing. So it was very tough. But even now, it's easier. Let me say, now it's easier because we've done our research everywhere because all these things that you are talking about are based on research. If you have to go and do your match, you concentrate on that. But the context you have to get what's the name, to get the content from all the papers, newspapers, about Shane McGregor. Shane McGregor came from there, but he was doing SVD. He was this and this and that. He's this age. He was born. But now to the commentators that are up and coming, you don't force every bit of information that you prepared coming down to the same 90 minutes that you are going to offer the viewers and listeners. Then you want to say everything. It's going to be boring again because these people don't want to hear more. Say that in passing.
Less is more.
Yes, but don't abandon the action. Never abandon the action. Yes, you can say, oh, so-and-so, he comes from whatever it is. Oh, he's just getting married today or tomorrow. But that is not the issue. Yeah. It's not supposed to be. The ball is there. You see, don't say, he kicks the ball. Who doesn't see that?
Do you remember your first game that you called, Masa? And when was it? What year was it?
Yes, it was 1980.
1980.
Remember, it was Umtof Oziki desadlalela Orlando Pirates, and they were playing against the very same Kaiser Chiefs.
It was a derby.
That's a derby, yes. That's where I started, being recognized. Oh, there's this newcomer, new kid in the club.
Wow.
At Orlando Stadium.
You also dabbled in acting at some point. If you don't know, those of us who were fans of Zinwayne says, if you remember Untsumpa, Umpati Gamkulu, how did that come about?
Master Tuani, jack of all trades, master of all. Because yes, I was as good who acting, because most of the people loved my voice and they loved this handsome, the hunk. Tall, dark and handsome. So the physique, because then I was young and strong and not one pack like I am now, but it was this 8 whatever. Then they loved me when I began to speak. They said, "Oh, that voice! Oh, it's killing us with the voice." So something like that. Then I acted in Mubango. You remember Mubango?
Oh yes.
Yes, Naughty Malumu Kumalo.
Yes. Goodness.
So I would say I was successful even then, but because of some circumstances here and there, I had to concentrate on my studies. Because now you have to concentrate on your preparations for the next scene. So I said, no, let me stick.
It just became too much.
Yeah, let me. I'm biting more than I can chew now.
And then you focused on the studies, and we know now that you've got qualifications just to fill your entire cabinet. From when you became a teacher, you've got degrees now, you've got masters.
All the way.
You went all the way.
But
what?
That did not puff me up. That did not. I'm still as modest as ever. That is why people, identify with me, because people like me, because I stop and speak to them. I stop and speak to them. I don't say, who is this now? some people spoil their good chances and good work, good reputation and everything because of pride. It doesn't help. Youngsters, young people like you are able to speak to me without me saying, hey man, you know,
Yes.
no, you're wasting my time. Yes. I'm patient. I love people.
Well, but Masondo, we can testify that you are not a pompous person, you are not an arrogant person, and that's why you were able to welcome us into your home. And the reason we are here is because of the same reasons that you are twice a Hall of Famer as a commentator and a huge contributor to South Africa.
It's funny.
Thank you so much, sir, for your time and allowing us into your home and giving us such a warm narration of how you.
If you did not find me in the garden, because I was, you can see I was busy doing some stuff in the garden with. Anyway, but I'm just glad you gave me some encouragement with it. And there are young people like you who still appreciate the old stuff. What do you call it now? You say old school stuff. But you still appreciate it. You still identify with it.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.